Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic today. Let's analyze the situation for the price of Bitcoin. Let's go, legends. Hope you're doing well. Let's discuss that potential big move that could be bubbling up here, guys. Now, I do understand that the price is actually pretty damn boring. It is boring. It is very, very boring, but we are gearing up here, without a doubt, for a pop, okay? I'm leaning more up to the upside. I'm leaning more to the upside than actually to the downside. However, out of curiosity, I went to take a look at other crypto people, right? Technical analysts, if you wish, on YouTube. And I've seen quite a bit of people quite bullish, which for me is disturbing. I don't like to see other people bullish on YouTube, if I'm honest with you. It's one of those things that you're like, yeah, if you're too bullish and you are too bullish, it's probably not that bullish. But anyway, let's go through the technical analysis. Of course, I'll go through the comment section right away, guys. First of all, a quick disclaimer here. The content that is provided, okay, is only educational only and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. We are trying to hold that point of control, guys. We are kind of dancing around here above that high volume node that we have from 2024 range here, basically. We kind of just trading there here, right, in this zone for the last few days. Actually, over a week right now, we got that wick down, and now we're kind of trying to maintain this high volume node. As you can see, we're just trading at it. Now, when we do take a look at the lower time frame, when we do consider these volume levels, we are sitting at the value area low of this range. Of course, we cannot get this price action. We need to get the range from the highs right over here, all right, since we have that peak high. So we are trading at the value area low of this entire range that we formed in the last 14 days by now, 14 days in this range. And value area low, without a doubt, is doing something. It is doing something. So can we hold this region and get that bounce? We'll be discussing, of course, the most important internal levels and Elliott wave scenarios that we are looking for here to develop in the next coming days. If you do like that, if you do like the education, smash up that like button, guys. It is much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's go through the comment section right away. Okay, Maria Vallecos, how much love to you. Thank you for joining today's stream. Mohammed, much love, my man. How are you doing? Distance Music, hello. How are you doing? Also, much love. Hope everybody's doing great, by the way. Oh yes, Toddy. A Trader, hey legend, how are you? I'm here, Andy. Where are you at? I am here. Much love, BM. Baby Genius, legend. Trust you are well, my good friend. Absolutely. Hope you're doing great also, my man. Elliott Davey, how are you doing? Andy, let's go, legend. Yes, we are here. Legend, let's get those likes up. A Trader, much love to everybody, okay? Thanks for joining and the support. Olivia, hello, my man. Hello, Longy. Much love. CBM is here. Yes, sir. By the way, prep your cheeks, my man. Yeah, I've got somebody here saying that, Andy, I live in Dubai and I play tennis regularly. Let's play. Elliott, anytime. Send me a DM. CBM is here. I'm playing tennis with him on Friday. And let's catch up. Play a game of tennis. I'm happy to play a game of tennis with somebody from, a subscriber. Why not? From people in the community. I would love to meet a lot of you guys. Why not? Right, let's go. It is time, guys. I'll hop into the comment section now in the next coming minutes, but let's discuss Bitcoin, because I have to say, there's nothing hidden about this. I actually did, said on the stream yesterday that, I want to get into this long position here. For me, it's just a good zone, in my opinion. Of course, I'm still in that short that Devil provided inside of the community a few days ago, which I went extremely aggressive on, I have to say. I went very aggressive. It was combined with my analysis. I really liked a lower high at the 70K region after this breakdown and this impulse. It looked impulsive and went aggressive into this trade. So we definitely need to leave some open just in case of the bearish case, which I am not, you know, for me, it's low probability that we do break down. However, what is disturbing is going through social media and going through YouTube mainly. I see many titles, you know, long in, we go into not only the top 70K to, you know, 72K region. I'm seeing people calling for short squeezes and going to $80,000, and I'm like, oh my goodness. There's actually quite a lot of crypto influencers or technical analysts, if you wish, that are actually bullish. And man, that's, you know, for me, it's, you know, that gut feeling that you say, oh man, if all of these guys on YouTube are bullish, such as myself, you know, I need to include myself in the pack here. I mean, you kind of have that feeling that it's just going to break down. Now, that breakdown naturally, you know, I have a very, very big issue here on counting multiple 1-2s to get that breakdown in a third wave, right? Gearing up for a breakdown in a wave 3 just to follow through later in 4-5s. You know, I see low probability in this happening just on the way of how this has developed. Right, I mean, we've been in this range now for, I mean, it seems like ages, but it's only been 2 days, right? We've been slowly grinding to the downside here since Sunday. So it's been 3 days only, but it seems like forever that we've been here. It seems like forever. We literally at the same price from yesterday's stream. We just got to move up, down, move up, down, move up, now back down. So yeah, we're going to still break down here a little bit of the scenarios and explaining why, for me, there's low probability in a successful breakdown at this point, even though I need to be aware, I need to be open of the possibility here. But I am preferring that this zone holds with a higher low and we end up, you know, getting that pop to the upside, or at a bare minimum, you know, we continue a little bit more the range, right? We continue a little bit more the range, and then we'll analyze the next movements. But so far, for me, this movement to the downside looks more corrective. Okay, and as we do have a very, very nice countable impulsive move in this zone, well, I mean, look no further. Impulsive and corrective, you know, you are looking for this to potentially form a higher low, right? That's the probabilities lean on that side, at least with my understanding and my experience. However, it's just been very, very boring, guys. You know, it's just been boring, even though, you know, one of my main reasons here about, you know, if you're looking for swing trades here, we're not making any big moves at the moment, right? So the main reason I went very, very aggressive on that short trade here, which was on Monday, you know, it's like, I know this is going to be something like this. It's going to be a move of $3,000 potentially, and I want to make the most of it. So I went really heavy because I was a little bit tired of all of this rangy structure, and that was a high probability setup. Okay, short trade right over here. Anyway, let's break down on the lower time frame a little bit of what we're looking at. Say hello to the new people that are joining. Best time to buy. Yeah, I mean, I did buy a bunch of spots. I'm not sure if you are talking about spot. Fear and greed. Oh yeah, okay. Fear and greed is at 8. We got fear and greed at 8. Been at extreme fear now for a couple of weeks now. A few weeks now at extreme fear. Naturally, you know, I did bought a bunch of spot. You know, this is very vocal. I think this is awesome zone to start buying, to hold, right, for the next coming years. This ain't a quick trade. It's like, you know, these are cheap levels for the future, regardless if we go to 50K or 40K, right, in the next coming months. You know, we'll have to buy a little bit more then if we do get those prices. So awesome 50% discount from all-time high, by the way, right? Just very, very good, very nice. Of course, to DCA aggressively at this zone already. Pump it, Andy. Let's go. CBK, much love to you, brother. CBM is here, guys. If you don't know who CBM is, go and check out his channel. He creates great content, okay? Great technical analysis. He's in a very epic short from 97K. Been bragging about it for a long time right now. Anyway, much love playing tennis with this dude on Friday. He's an absolute legend. Entire thing from 60K low can be a triangle. And now wave E, up and down we go. Thomas, I actually like that. We were talking about this scenario a few days ago where there is that possibility of forming a triangle. I like the idea. I do like the idea. There's only one thing that is a little bit disturbing for me here about this triangle. And that is this wave right over here that does look more impulsive. Okay, this one right over here does look a little bit more impulsive. This one can be counted as a three waver. This one also as a corrective structure in a double zigzag counts better. This also looks corrective. However, this one does look impulsive. So I have a little bit of an issue here with this triangle, but I do get it. It is very much a possibility, of course, right? We might get that bounce in the next coming days. It looks exciting just to only tank later on, right? And then you form that triangle structure, which is it's a 5-wave move on its own in an A, B, C, D, E. I have a little bit of a problem about this triangle, and it's this wave right over here. All right, if you tell me if it can be a 3-wave structure, a 3-wave corrective structure, I have to say yes. I would have to say, yeah, there is a way. It would have to be some kind of a double zigzag. You just need to, kind of squeeze it in, kind of force a double zigzag in this move where you have the pump, correction, and then this big pump, and that's your wave X, right? So you got a zigzag and W, and your wave X being very, very shallow, and then another zigzag here in your wave Y. If you ask me to force a correction, I would say you can force a correction here in this movement, which would have to be a double zigzag. Wave X is very small and shallow. It's just low probability. It's not an invalidation, of course, but it just doesn't look nice. The more symmetry you have, wave X getting down, not even to the 0.236 Fibonacci is like, extreme rare, very, very rare that X wave does not hit the 236 Fibonacci at least, right? As and even that is shallow. So it could be a triangle. It could be a triangle formation. I cannot deny that. I cannot say it's not a triangle. It's not going to happen, right? Yeah, that would be pretty foolish of myself. I could say it's low probability. The probabilities do look lower based on this movement. You can fit 3 here, 3 here. You can force a 3-wave corrective structure here. This does look more corrective. So in this case, you would want to form another higher low and get a little bit of a bounce in the next coming days, which is going to be, again, choppy and corrective. That's going to be the main zone to analyze in the next coming days. If we do get this bounce in the coming days, which is going to form, a very messy structure, or might be a simple zigzag, by the way, it just might be an ABC. However, then we get the pullback here and we understand, okay, guys, right? We got a 3-wave move up confirmation. Once you get that pullback down, right after the big move up, failing as a wave 3, because what you want to see is your wave 3 succeeding here. And if that wave 3 fails, or you form a double 1-2, that's what you want to see. If you take out that higher low, we will definitely take it into consideration, and that might be our swing short position in the next coming days if we are going to be forming this triangle. For the moment, I am leaning more bullish locally for that bounce to maybe get to 69, 70k, and hopefully to 70.9k, which is this high right over here. I'm leaning on that scenario. Of course, I want to be positioned already in that bounce, And then as the bounce develops, we can either add to the position, manage that position, but basically right accordingly, depending on what information we have. So as someone said here in the comment section, I have to give this a valid option. Okay, I would have to give it a valid option. One of the waves that I don't like is this one. Okay, where you need to force a little bit a double zigzag, and based on the information that we do get in the next coming days, if it is going to be looking very overlappy and corrective, we could definitely consider that triangle. And it is true that that triangle could already be that wave for formation when we do take a look at the higher time frame, 4-hourly time frame, and we consider the 5-wave structure to the downside, right, from $98,000. Wave 4s can be triangles, wave 2s cannot be triangles. However, wave 4s can be triangles. So it is a good point. I have to say it is one of the scenarios that is without a doubt possible. Okay, and the information provided on the bounce is going to be crucial. Because you want that bounce to be powerful and move to the upside. But if it's not going to be powerful, we start overlapping, right? Looking at the 1-hourly time frame. We'll be analyzing this very, very carefully, of course, in the trading community. By the way, guys, if you are interested in the trading community, that's where we do the daily updates, the possible setups that we find if we're not here in YouTube. Okay, you have your chance right now to join for a couple of months for free. Just send me the word access. You just need to sign up to one of the links down below, one of the affiliate links, do a minimum deposit for your own trading, and we'll jump you inside of the trading community. So with this scenario, absolutely, it's one of them that could happen. Considering the higher time frame, it's we will detect if the bounce is going to be corrective or not. For the moment, we are interested in that bounce. We know that the probabilities are higher for the bounce. The question is, will this bounce fail? Right? Will this bounce fail and form a lower high? Or will this bounce succeed and manage to take out 70,900? And then obviously, if we do take out 70,900, there's going to be a very, very good chance that we're going to just take out 72.2k high here of the range, and hopefully break out a few $1,000s. We'll break down a little bit here of what I would be looking at if we do, pump up in the next coming days. We'll be explaining a little bit the Fibonacci levels, the levels of resistance, and how the price needs to develop to decide if we are going to short from higher, right, in the next coming days. I know a lot of people would say it's bear market or it's bull market. Well, obviously bull market, no. A lot of people assume already that this is a very heavy bear market and we're going much lower in the next coming months. And I know a lot of people, this is only a local bounce, okay? This would only be a local bounce. And then we'll have to watch the price action on the higher time frame. It is still looking pretty damn bearish. I am favoring a wave 4 here, regardless if we get above 72k or not, and then roll over to take out 60k. I am favoring this on the higher time frame. It does look bearish without a doubt. On the lower time frame is where I'm like, you're looking for that bounce here with the potential, of course, of taking out 70.9 and maybe 72k to form that larger 3-wave move. So yeah, we'll break down, okay? But the triangle, as someone said, is a possibility without a doubt. We'll be paying close attention. A triangle needs 5 waves, okay? It does need 5 waves. For the moment, we got 4. So for the moment, we've got the A wave, we got the B wave, the C wave, and the D wave. Hang on a minute. This is just an ABC, right? You do need those 5 waves. For the moment, we do have 4. So we need that E wave. Depending on how we move up here, naturally we'll be coming up to the valley area high, right? Point of control, basically valley area high of this range. You got a high volume node right over here. It's going to be interesting because we'll really have to detect if that movement up is corrective or not. Because if it is corrective, I would treat it as a swing short, right? We don't need to catch the high of the potential C wave, right? If we're looking for a simple zigzag. You know, once we can confirm that the bounce looks corrective, you know, it doesn't really matter if we catch the exact high, right? Stop loss would be that high at 70.9K. We could enter, you know, somewhere once we get a little bit of more confirmation, because the idea of this would be coming down to $60,000, right? Of course, it would be nice to get the, you know, sweetest risk to reward. But I like confirmation. I like to see a little bit of confirmation. So naturally, confirmation comes down when you know, get that leg to the downside after failing the third wave. So naturally, you know, I'd have to enter a little bit later, depending on the lower time frame, right? On the lower time frame, we might detect that, you know, 5 up correction and 5 up, right? And if we can detect that fifth wave to enter a short, well, we might catch the high, right? Depending on how that price develops, right? And if we're around, it doesn't happen at 1 a.m. in the morning. So anyway, I got distracted with this triangle because someone mentioned it in the comment section. It is one of the scenarios that I wanted to point out today, of course. You know, it is possible. We did talk about it. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And, you know, something that we don't like is this wave over here, okay? That looks much better as an impulse. And inside of a triangle, you need to have corrective zigzags, right? Double zigzag, a regular zigzag, right? You cannot have an impulse in 5 waves, right? So anyway, let's quickly go through the comment section. I'll break down a little bit of the other scenarios that we are looking at here on the bounce from the $60,000. Okay, I think this is really the zone that we want to analyze very, very strictly. We ain't going to go to the daily or the 4-hour time frame. This is really what we're leaning on a potential lower high, regardless triangle or pop out here above $72,000. We'll check how we get up there, but this is the main scenario on the higher time frame. Okay, I think rolling over in a wave 4 to form that wave 5 is what makes more sense at the moment. And of course, what is most important is understanding the bounce from $60,000. Now, as we do, much love to everybody, by the way. Okay, much love. Thank you very much for joining. Smash up that like button. Let's see how many likes we do have. I'll do a like recount, and then we'll break down a little bit of the Singularity X. Thanks for joining. We are taking the highs and lows without any actual trend. I'm going crazy. I got stopped every time. Yeah, I'm taking this more as chilled. I'm like getting into this long. Stop loss is far away. Hopefully we add to this position if it is going to be looking bullish in the next coming days. Just a different style of trading, right? I know scalpers here can get a little bit crazy, and day traders can go a little bit nuts here in this zone, but you know, I'm taking it simple. You know, I do see this being corrective. I know that we could form a little bit of noise in this zone. I'm very, very much aware of a little bit of noise here going lower. You know, I'm just not interested in the potential noise that could happen here. So I understand based on the analysis that there is a good chance. There is a good chance of forming a higher low. Okay, and you know, the main reason is this impulse right over here, and this does look very, very corrective performance, right? I would say corrective, you know, type of price action. So Singularity X here saying, you know, crazy price action locally here. Yeah, it's a bit noisy, I have to say. It is a little bit noisy. And there's a few scenarios here that could extend this noise, which we can break down now in the next coming minutes. I'm not interested in that noise. I'm not interested. I'm going to get grey hair. Anyway, much love to everybody, okay? Thanks for joining. I'll go through the comment section in a bit. Make sure to, let's do a like recount, guys. Hopefully we're above 100 already. Let's get that like above 100. Let me go around the table. I'm just going to get a drink of water. I'm feeling a bit dry. And I'll come right back, okay? Right back, and we'll analyze the different movements from the low of $60,000. Okay. Right. Let's go. Right. The bounce here from $60,000. We have a few waves, a few ways and a few waves to count this movement to the upside. The most bullish one, which doesn't, I'm going to get attacked here on this scenario. I know it. I know I'm going to get absolutely, I'm going to get crushed here in the comment section based on the bullish. How can you be so bullish? We're in a bear market, you idiot. You idiot. Talking about this bullish case. It ain't going to happen. But anyway, yeah, basically what we would be looking at is, double 1-2 here could, there is a valid count for a double 1-2 because you can count a 5-wave move up here. You can count a corrective move here very, very nicely in a double zigzag. You can count a very nice impulse here. And for the moment, you're counting a nice correction here. I prefer the second 1-2 to actually take out the previous one. That's a little bit more beautiful, but it's still valid. You could still form a lower high with your second 1-2. There's no rule that says this cannot happen. It does happen actually quite often. So going with time as well, time's really nice. When you get this wave, potential wave 1, you're crossing the 1-to-1, very symmetrical, almost the same time, right, from the pump and the correction. When you take a look at Fibonacci time also, a lot of symmetry here. Very, very symmetrical. Crossing the 1-to-1. Bang, bang, right? Very, very symmetrical, these waves. So regarding time, it looks super symmetrical. It's a multiple 1-2. Do we give it the highest probability? Well, the problem is here, why we're not giving this the high probability is because we're in a big downtrend. We're in a big downtrend, and the highest amount of volume finished here, right, with this movement down that we had a couple of weeks ago. And you always want to prioritize the higher time frame trend, which is down. And when you have such a big move like this with high volume, then you want to give a little bit of priority here for this to be a corrective structure, right? A corrective range, right? Wave 4 is usually complex. So this scenario of forming multiple 1-2s and having an extreme pump here in an impulse at some point with a wave 3 is a little bit of wishful thinking, I have to say. Possible it is. It is without a doubt possible. You would want to defend this low here, because at this point, when we do take a look at Fibonacci time from the low to this high, I mean, we're still good. We only just, it would be 2 days. On Friday, we would be crossing the 4-to-1 time. That's like getting to the limit. If you cross 5-to-1, it is very, very long in time. If we wanted to consider some kind of a 3-wave corrective structure here of some kind, which I don't have ready as a combination, but if you wanted to say that this is your wave 1 and this is your wave 2 and then we absolutely explode out, I'm not ready for that scenario. I haven't got a very, very valid count for this. There's a little harmonic here. Devil did point out a harmonic. You could get that bounce at the 7-8 Fibonacci from this low to this high, but I don't have you know, the possible count as a 1, 2. You know, you're really stretching it with timing here. And I don't have a nice combination with this movement down. This does really look like a WXY. You know, you don't have a solid diagonal, or you don't have, you know, a 3-wave ABC simple zigzag. It's lots of overlap. So you need to combine a WXY here. And the problem is if you have a WXY here, you know, the only thing that could happen as a correction is a flat in your B wave and then a C wave down. Of course, that is not possible because we did not pump up here. I think we didn't. Yeah, we did not pump up to the 0.88, 0.9 Fibonacci, which is the minimum target, you know, for a B wave or for a flat, right? When you're looking for a flat to take out this low and then move up. If you have a WXY, the only continuation pattern that you can form is a flat. So it's WXY usually finishes a correction. So, you know, I have a big problem here looking at all of this. That this is some kind of a simple zigzag ABC or any type of diagonal. It was not multiple 1-2s because we popped out here. So there's a problem, right? You know, you would have to maintain this low. If this is going to be bullish, you don't want to take out this low. You take out this low and, you know, you're very, very likely at a later stage going to take out this low at some point. So anyway, so, you know, this is still possible as a multiple 1-2 and break out in a wave 3. We actually get surprised with that melt face pump, right? It's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have to see. I have to say it is possible. This is why, you know, taking a chance here, taking a chance, regardless if it's not going to be that bullish. For me, it's a very, very sweet zone, and it's giving us time, regardless if I get stopped out, right? Regardless if this breaks down, right? This is multiple 1-2s, which looks awful, and it breaks down, right, in a wave 3. We just have to get stopped out, right? What can we do? It's just part of the game. So we manage risk, right? So yeah, that's one of the scenarios. We're gonna have to see how the price does actually move up from here. Could it form another 1 and 2 and then it breaks out? We're just gonna have to see, right? We're just gonna have to see. I am not counting on this scenario. I am not giving this scenario the highest probability that we really pop out and start going to $80,000 plus in the coming weeks, right? With, you know, very strong moves. I'm not counting on it. One of the main reasons is the overall downtrend that we have. We are in a very, very bearish downtrend, and the highest amount of volume finished here. And it is common to form a complex corrective range in a wave 4, which is kind of what's happening right now, right? It is ranging for over 15 days. So this is a kind of natural price action for a wave 4. So this is why I cannot give priority to the multiple 1-2s, even though it is valid based on the movement that we got from the lows. It is a valid count. When we break down the other scenarios, which are looking a little bit more interesting for me based on that movement to the downside, right? Hey, if we get into a long position here, and in the next coming weeks, we end up breaking up in a wave 3, you know, happy days, right? You said this was low probability that we moved up in an impulse. Yeah, but I'm positioned, right? So regardless if the bullish scenario does happen, then, you know, we'll be just riding it to the upside, naturally taking some profits. But because the other scenarios actually also point out a pump. That pump, instead of this being a wave 1, it would be a wave A, right? This is another possibility right there. Wave A right there, wave B, and then you get your wave C formation, right? This one right over here, instead of breaking out to the upside, with, you know, a big wave 3 and then 4 and 5, and you actually get continuation, right? Double 1 2, double 4 5. In this case, you would only break out, right, in a wave 3, form that wave 4, and then the wave 5. Naturally, it would have to be a little bit longer at this stage, and that's where we would form that wave C here, right? Inside of a wave C, you want to have 5 waves, right? So you know there is a countable 5-wave move here to the upside on the lower time frames. You know, there is a little 1 2 in this stage, 3 4 5. This does look like a WXY. So I would want to label this as the low of the B wave, and here, which we are extending a little bit in time, I have to say. Usually inside of your C wave, you know, your wave 1 and then 3, this is taking a bit of time, I have to say, but still very much in the time zone. You would just wait for that breakout in a third wave, right? That could happen in the coming days. That breakout, of course, you want to see a little bit of a consolidation for that wave 4 formation. I would say naturally it would be above this pivot high. You would want to extend here to around about the 1.618, which is the common target area, right, for your wave 3. Around about this area where I've done the drawing basically, and then form that wave 4 and 5. That could be the moment that we could get into a very, very, very attractive swing short position. When we talk about this, you know, the levels of resistance that we do have, hang on a minute, because I'm not sure if the anchored VWAP is also aligning up from $98,000. Yeah, I mean, the anchored VWAP from $98,000, look where it is. It's coming into the 75K region. When we do count, the possibility of a 1 2 3 4 5, wave 4 here is stretching a little bit, and then the 5th wave, you would still be hitting the 50% Fibonacci, which is a common target as well for the wave 4. And also the base channel looks interesting, because that base channel, when you connect your wave 1 and 2, hang on a minute, base channel here, yeah, is coming a little bit high here at the moment. I mean, yeah, this is extending a little bit in time. Yeah, you would, well, it depends on that wave 3 and 4 and 5, depending here. You don't really want to start hitting the top of the channel, because that might be more bullish than we think. It's not an invalidation, it just affects the probabilities. Okay, you can hit the top of the base channel of your wave 1 and 2. It just lowers the probability for the wave 4, but you could still hit it as long as you don't hit the golden pocket, which would be your hard invalidation for the wave 4. Then you could still hit the top of the base channel. Still could hit it. It just would impact a little bit the probability side of it. So when we do take a look at the confluence that we do have here, based on Elliott wave theory, right? So Elliott wave theory points out, 1 2 3 4 5. We also have the confluence at $75,000 is actually very, very interesting, because the price did get a major reaction there when we got this drop here the first few days of February. It's a reactionary level, value area low. We formed a little consolidation here for a few days. You got 50% Fibonacci, you got the anchored VWAP from 98K, which is coming down to this region. So it is $75,000 is a very, very interesting level to consider that swing short. Now, how we need to read this is important, because this ain't your average channel that's just going to say, this is a massive level, let's all short it all together, right? And then the price continues to the upside. It is extremely important on how we do get up there. How do we get up there and which phase are we in from the waves? Naturally, if we are looking for a speculative ABC movement to the upside, ABC, inside of the C wave, we need to detect the 5-wave move. It's when you have that gap here of the third wave and you start consolidating in that wave 4, when the next pump, you know, it can very likely fail. And of course, you know, that's what we need to detect, because we don't know how strong that third wave can be. You know, this might explode out and hit the 2.618 extension of this little wave 1. You know, we end up forming a massive blast off to the upside, and we do get above $80,000. So it's going to require a little bit of patience and study very much the waves, right? Study very much how are we getting up there? What stage are we in on the wave? Because I can already see, right, some people like epically getting into a short position here with the first pump with high volume as soon as it taps $75,000. Because, you know, naturally it is a reactionary zone. You know, I would expect a pullback in this zone. However, you need to be aware, if you do pump up to that level very aggressively, yeah, you're going to get a reaction, you know, but you're going to get those people that are shorting late that can get squeezed out, that's why we create the 5th wave. The 5th wave is the squeeze out. So when you hit a major resistance, then this would be the one, right, that we would want to get into the short, the 5th wave. Looking for that double top with the 3rd wave. And I mean, this would take a few weeks to develop naturally. This is the 4-hourly time frame, but it's one of those scenarios that could happen, right? It's one of those that is going to be looking interesting to see. You know, I got a few things ready here, right? And I have them all set up. I've got them on my folders and I'm ready for what I'm looking for. This right here that I'm sharing with you would be one of them as a swing short. It would be one of them. So let's go, adding the confluence as well. You know, we do, got anchored VWAP, value area low, 50% Fibonacci. You know, we're talking about the waves on how it can develop on the upside, you know, giving you how to execute, you know, the steps on how to execute this trade if that does come to fruition, right? So that is one of them, which I like very much. You know, just a simple zigzag. We're just a little bit busy right now with the 1 and 2. What can we do? This is why also, regardless if it's going to be bearish or bullish, bearish is that we get up here and fail. Bullish is that we explode out, right? It just explodes out here in a 3rd wave and we go higher. We know there's no major 4th waves. There's no 5th wave. It just really rallies very aggressively, and we can't do anything about it, right? Just respect the pump if that is the case. Other scenarios here. Other scenarios here for the movement to the upside. I mean, that would be my favorite one. We got the triangle, which we need to be paying attention, right, in the next coming days. I would say next 2 days, right, till, around about Friday, a bit of Thursday and Friday. You know, hopefully we do create this higher low here. And depending on how we move up here, which is going to be seen in the next coming days, we'll identify if it is corrective or not. We will identify the probability side of that move. You know, do we actually take out 70.9k and 72k plus, or do we move up here and it's, you know, extremely choppy and it looks absolutely awful, multiple 1-2s, low probability because of the overlap and, you know, the extension on the 3rd wave is, you know, we can't count it as another 1-2 and we just take out this higher low, and we just need to understand, holy moly, you know, it looks like that we're probably not going to get to, you know, not even 70.9k. Then we're going to have to flip flop, you know, to the other side and just say, you know what, screw 75k, we ain't going up there, right? Or it doesn't look like we're going to go up there, and take the decision, short position here, you know, to possibly come down to $60,000 in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have to see. But it is getting ready, without a doubt, for that. You know, we are getting ready for that move, right? As per the title or thumbnail, we are getting ready, right, for that move. We are potentially days away of getting a large move. It all makes sense based on the timing, based on you know, this range that has been forming. You know, we either pop to the upside to get to above $70,000, $72,000, right, even higher, or you know, we get ready for the triangle formation as well, which would require a little bounce of a few $1,000s, right, throughout the next coming days. And if it is going to be corrective, you know, we just have to be ready that breakdown is probably going to happen very, very soon, right? Potentially by the beginning of next week. So yeah, that's a little bit. Triangle is one scenario for that wave 4 on the higher time frame. ABC is one that I like very, very much. I do like it very much. Bullish scenario is breaking higher. Bearish one is finish a 5-wave move up here and collapse, likely to the 75k region. And we need to talk about the bearish scenario naturally, which is we ain't bumping nowhere, right? We ain't going not even to $69,000. And then we move down. You know, I have to say, we if we don't form the triangle or we don't form the ABC, and you know, we naturally, you know, start pumping here in a wave 3 in the next coming days, then, you know, one of the bearish case scenarios, I need to give a shout out here to Joe, and I'm not sure if he is in the comment section, but if he is, shout out to him, because he pointed out this other scenario. Or, you know, all of the scenarios do have hidden trades. This bearish case scenario, I don't like it very much, but I have to understand that it is naturally possible. That would be a WXY here, where your W is a zigzag, your wave X is a double zigzag, but instead of finishing here, it finishes here. It is, but both are countable. And then here you have a expanding flat in your wave Y. Now, I don't like this to be multiple 1-2s. It's just very, very disturbing, the kind of price action that we have. But with the recent new information, unfortunately, we do have a diagonal here. There is a countable diagonal. I think it's right over here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there is a countable diagonal here, and I have a big problem with this diagonal. This would be a leading diagonal, which on its own has low probability. A leading diagonal does have low probability in a wave 1 or a wave 8. Let me just change this. I don't like this circle. Finished WXY with a leading diagonal, in this case, you know, in the bearish case for a wave 1, leading diagonals are low probability, and this would have to be your wave 1. Now, leading diagonals are low probability on its own. Okay, they don't usually happen. They do happen, of course, sometimes. This is why, you know, it's we need to consider it as a pattern. The leading diagonal here, the problem is, after a leading diagonal, you usually get a pretty sharp zigzag. You usually get a pretty sharp zigzag for a wave 2, and then, you know, you break down in your wave 3. With this current information that we have, we have a very, very shallow zigzag. However, we have hit the 382 Fibonacci. Okay, we'd have to label this as the wave 1. And when you take a look at Fibonacci from the top of the diagonal to the end of the diagonal right over here, you have hit the 382 Fibonacci. So I mean, it is shallow, but you know, this is kind of a minimum target that you usually hit. Wave 2s usually hit 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci zone, and you especially hit this zone after a leading diagonal, right, most of the times. And that hasn't happened here. You just hit the 382. There is a countable zigzag move here. However, with this bounce, you know, getting to the 382 the 0.88 from this latest move down, I mean, yeah, it doesn't look nice for this. It does not look nice. And on its own, a leading diagonal is low probability, and this correction already is pretty off as well. And you know, this recent bounce that we got here on Bitcoin, claiming almost this lower high, hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci, you know, there's low probability for this to be a wave 2, wave 1 and 2 in this case, right? And another wave 1, 2, and then you end up breaking down. So yeah, it's just not pretty, right? It's not pretty. We like pretty charts, and this is not one of them for a potential Elliott wave count. So I need to acknowledge that that would be a possibility. Unfortunately, there is a countable zigzag here. It would be very, very quick, of course. I mean, this could extend naturally in a zigzag up, you know, another zigzag to the downside, and this forms a flat, even though a flat yeah even though a flat here, I'm just laughing because, you know, we have so many scenarios. A flat is rare after a diagonal, okay, that's first of all, but you know, it's not an invalidation. It is just very, very rare. So all of these combinations, right, we're looking for different combinations for the bearish case. Leading diagonal is rare. Forming a shallow ABC zigzag is also very rare after a diagonal. It's usually pretty sharp, hitting at least the 50% Fibonacci. So when you know, combine all of those probabilities, you understand that this is actually a low probability scenario. This is a low probability scenario if you're looking for a breakdown based on the information that we have on the chart. So I don't like it, you know, I don't like it. But it is possible. It is without a doubt possible. We consider the bearish case and the bullish case, and it is true that sometimes on the channel, regardless if we say it's low probability or high probability, we're just going with the rules and rules from Elliott wave theory based on the probability side of it. Low probability scenarios do happen sometimes, you know, obviously when we talk about them on the channel, you know, we're like, this is low probability, right? And then a few days later, a low probability scenario happens. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just low probability, right? At the end of the day. So anyway, for this, yeah, I mean, I would consider this, yeah, if we are, you know, also based on timing, if this is a leading diagonal right over here, you know, one thing also that is impacting the probabilities here is that we do have this zigzag that, you know, did not cross the 382 Fibonacci. It did hit the 382 Fibonacci retracement, which is very shallow after a leading diagonal. And we didn't cross the 382 Fibonacci time, which obviously affects the probability. So it's not great. You know, if you want this to be a correction to then nuke down based on this scenario in a wave 3, you would want to extend a little bit more in time here. And as the information that we got, zigzag up, and you would probably be looking for a zigzag down, take out the lows, and then, you know, an impulse to form a flat. But, you know, flats are rare after a leading diagonal as well. So it wouldn't be an invalidation. It's just rare. But yeah, we're not liking all of these different combinations because we're just combining low probability with low probability with low probability, right? But it's something to consider. It's just something I would have to accept. And I would have to say, oh my God, you know, my eyes are bleeding. My eyes are bleeding because of this very, very ugly scenario, which had the lower probabilities on its own. And, you know, but based on all of the scenarios, I have to say, another bullish case scenario, which this could extend a little bit longer for the next couple of days, is if we do form, and this is going to really blow your brains out, when we do consider this, the impulsive move to the upside. And this is the thing about complex corrective structures. We're always trying to detect the end of the move, right? Always trying to detect the end of the move. Just for the better entry. I've took it as a chilled. I'm like, screw this. You know, I don't feel like looking at the charts. I'm managing risk. I've got stop loss here. Entry zone is in this area. And I'm going to give it a chance for the price to get to $71,000 in the next coming days. Because this, I know it could extend a little bit longer, right? When you are looking at the waves and, you know, you realize that, okay, you could form, you know, this could have been a flat right there. Over here, you got a running flat right over here, and now you're still going to form a flat right over here, which is you have a 3-wave down. You're still busy on its own with the B wave that could be a flat on its own, and then form an impulse down. A wave and a B wave can be a flat inside of a flat, which is, you know, it's just disturbing naturally because it just really makes things more complex. You would want to, you have already come down to the 0.9 Fibonacci right over here with this wick, but it would be nice, you know, maybe create a double bottom here, move up, then move down again, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you know, when is this mess? People were already saying, you know, in the last few days, what is this price action, right? When are we going to take that decision of getting out of this zone with all of this noise? And it still could be even a little bit more noisy, right? Where you just take out the lows, take out the lower highs again, and then take out the lows again, right? And you're going to get people shorting, and you're going to get people longing, and you're going to get people, you know, and then shorting again, right? And then here's where it finishes, right? Would be where it finishes, because what you are looking for here is a complex combination in a WXY. I'm just right now. I'm just extending the possibilities, right? This could still be noisy for a few days. Naturally, you can count a low here where we are at the moment. It is very much possible, but it could still be a little bit more noisy, and that would just be looking for a flat here. Still, you got you know, this would be a triple flat, which is, you don't see them very often, but it is a WXY can be a flat, can be another flat, and it can be another flat. A WXY can be flat, flat, flat. So it is actually pretty rare, but you know, why not? You know, we could have one, and this would just be put in the history books, right? Of a flat, flat, flat WXY. We'll just have to put it in the history book. So that would just be a flat, a running flat, and another flat right over here, and then price, you know, decides it goes to you know, $71,000 plus potentially, right? So that's another scenario. We are extending a little bit in time, but we're still in the time zone. yeah, there's plenty of time here still. There's time till next Saturday. Well, sorry, yeah, this Saturday. Oh, my bad. This is the 1 hour time frame. So there is time to correct here till the weekend from this potentially being the impulse. And that's counting this as the end of the fifth wave, right? And then obviously you got that flat. There's the other way, which you count this as the end of the 5, right? Then you would have even more time when we consider this scenario. And there's till next week, potentially Monday, or yeah, even more. Yeah, Wednesday, even till Wednesday. So yeah, regarding time for this to be a bit more noisy, it is there. We could still have a couple of more days, which is just going to be a little bit rangy. Now today we do have the FOMC minutes, and there could be massive volatility, or it could be a big fat nothing burger. You know, I've seen FOMC minutes not do anything, right? And the market just creates a little bit of local volatility, but nothing too aggressive. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait a little bit, see how the price develops in the coming days. As explained, I do not like the bearish case. Bearish case would be leading diagonal with a very, very shallow pullback. You end up breaking down in a wave 3. You know, there are examples. You know, where is there an example here? I just want to get an example on a leading diagonal. I remember there was one. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I want to find a leading diagonal that ended up breaking. I remember there was one somewhere here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to get, I remember, I think it's somewhere in 2024. Anyway, never mind. It was actually this one here, I think. It was actually this one right over here. That was one of, I think this was one of them. Leading diagonal here in this movement, and then it ends up breaking down. And I mean, this bounce did hit the 50% Fibonacci. Oh, it did actually hit the golden pocket. Yeah, I mean, this was not shallow, but yeah, this is the 4-hourly time frame. When you go to the 1-hour time frame, you can actually see it better. You had a 5-wave structure here, and then a shallow bounce, very quick in time. But we did hit the golden pocket, but then ended up breaking down. So they do happen, even though they're low probability leading diagonals. So it's just one that I remembered here from March of 2025. Anyway, what else do we have to discuss here regarding the waves? Very, very boring price action. I think the price is, I'm not sure what the S&P 500 is doing at the moment. It's actually pumping a little bit in this range. It is pumping. That's nice. We did bounce from the value area low in the end, and we're now getting that bounce. Unfortunately, Bitcoin's not doing that much. Hopefully, the S&P 500 in the next coming days does manage to squeeze up to the value area high potentially, or correction, and then move up, hopefully, right? There's no reason to believe we're not going to attempt to hit all-time high again before any possible corrections in the next coming months. So that would definitely help Bitcoin with the correlation naturally. unfortunately, Bitcoin hasn't done much with the S&P 500 with this little bounce that we got, which is not great. Bitcoin does feel more the moves down than the moves up, unfortunately. It's more correlated to the on the movements to the downside. So anyway, let's really boring, guys. What can we say? This could still be a little bit noisy, as it has been already in the last 2 days. We do have a flat potential, as explained here. This could still form a flat, where you have a flat, and hang on a minute. Yeah, another sorry, my bad. That would be from here. So a flat, and another flat here, and then you move up. So it would still take out the highs, still take out the lows, and then just really a bull flag, if you wish. Keeping it simple, but it can still be a little bit noisy in the next couple of days. Very, very boring, guys. But anyway, if you are in the trading community, you are still potentially in this short position. I am still in the short, and now I'm just in this, possible long. I'm happy for this zone to hold. This is what I'm leaning on. We do have many reasons to believe it's going to hold. The bearish case scenario, in this case the leading diagonal, multiple 1-2s don't look nice at all, especially with this latest move down. So very low probability for multiple 1-2s here. Very low. This is a very messy move down if you're going to consider it an impulse. So there's low probability on multiple 1-2s. Leading diagonal would be your main scenario here. With this, if it is going to end up breaking down, it does look messy on its own, the leading diagonal. The pullback is very shallow, which is not common if you're expecting the price to nuke from here. But I have to say, it's possible. I'm not counting on it, and naturally, but we need to cover the bearish scenarios. I am long, right, from this level. So just managing risk. Obviously, I'm hedging with that short as well, based on this potential long. And this long is possibly to take out $72,000. And even higher, right? Maybe even higher. So it is a bit of a swing trade. It's a bit of a swing trade. I would love to add to this position, depending on what we do form in the next coming days. If we do get, a clear impulsive move to the upside and a very corrective structure here, then naturally, I would want to add to the position, right, to these higher lows right over here, with and obviously stop loss, instead of being here, would be here, right, to kind of maximize that potential move up in that wave 3. So we're gonna have to go here a little bit. Let's see if this can be built up for a big position. The trading community will be aware about this, and if you are interested, then look no further. You do have down below the Telegram, okay, to send me the word access. I'll share the instructions with you. Just need to sign up to one of the affiliate links down below, guys. And this is where myself, Devolt, rest of the coaches, we also have Joan, which is an expert in Elliott wave theory, especially on the lower time frames. He's like updating every single day. He's an absolute machine, and giving the updates on the possible trading setups. And I have to thank Devolt, because he was actually extra confluence for me to take this short position here. I was already quite confident in this short, but Devolt was pointing out as well the short. He liked the short, I like the short, and if we both like the short, then we take it, right? We take it big, which was very good. We actually pointed out on a stream a few days ago that 3-wave structure here after an impulse makes a lot of sense, right? And naturally talking about that 1 2 3 4 5 here, get a reaction at this low, bounce, then another move down. So this was just a very good shorting opportunity based on the information that we had here. Unlikely this was going to be multiple 1-2s, breakout in a third, 4-5, right, and just form an impulse here. So based on this information, very, very steep 1-2s here. Wave 2s don't usually hit the 0.88 Fibonacci, so the probabilities were low for this to actually, pop out and, get continuation as an impulse. So, very, very happy about that short position. I did go pretty aggressive. I have to say that this is, being my biggest trade for February at the moment. And we'll see, let's see if we do hold this zone. We're at the Valley area low. Hold this area. We've got many, many reasons to believe that this could hold. Maintain a higher low here. We just don't want to go all in, right? I don't want to go all in here. So, I'm going to position, manage risk. It's a lowish position size for me. And depending on the information that we get next, if we do manage to get that pump with, very impulsive structure, something similar to this, maybe on a lower time frame, and then detect the pullback here. Just a pump and a corrective structure naturally, right? A bull flag. Let's see if we can detect a bull flag after the pump. So we can add to that long position, basically. We do have the point of control of this range, which is at 69K. It is a zone that is actually important. We did get rejected here on Tuesday. So yeah, maybe you can actually SFP of that level. Yeah, as explained before, you can actually form a flat here, the flat here, and then another flat here. And then it rallies. So, you could still form a swing failure pattern here from this point of control and that lower high from Tuesday and coming down and claim the low. And yeah, it's just going to be a little bit confusing for a lot of people, but it's something that could happen. SFP from this lower high of Tuesday, which has the point of control as resistance, and then come back down, swing failure pattern the lows, and then get the movement to the upside. It's just going to be a little bit more noisy in this case before the move happens, but this is what we got. This is what Bitcoin's doing. This is what it likes to do lately. And this is natural price action when we have had such a volatile move down in the last few weeks, end of January. I mean, it's natural to get a complex, rangy structure for a couple of weeks, easy, even more than that. After such a big move down that we had end of January, we need to chill out for a bit, right? And this is what Bitcoin is doing at the moment. It's chilling out based on that big move down that we got late of January, which is just something natural to happen, especially if we consider that this is the wave 4 formation, right? And then we move down again later on in a couple of weeks. So anyway, let's go right away. If you're live, will be a pump. Yeah, we do have the FOMC minutes, so maybe, bro, I am so bored, I know, but this is where we get ready for some scenarios, right? This as this price action is very, very boring, I have to say, I like the probability side, right? It is boring now where it is, but I actually like the idea that we could pump in the coming days, right? And of course, if you have the probability side that this could form a higher low, and you have an invalidation, I would prefer that low not to be taken naturally. Then we cannot get bullish here, right? The price is kind of pumping, and we can't long here, can we? Right, you kind of need to be in the long if it is going to bounce, unless you form an impulse and then you correct down. Then you would have to look for the longs on the correction, right? We look for longs in the correction, right? And now at the moment is lots of signs that this could be coming to its end stages as a correction. the bearish scenario has low probability, even though the probabilities are there. You just need to have invalidation levels, understand the target zones. Risk reward is not that massive. It's about a 2.5 to 1 risk reward. If we consider this the setup, right, to the range highs, it might be a little bit more, but you know, let's go level by level. And depending on how strong that impulse can be, you know, I can make this position very, very big if we get an impulse and a corrective structure in the coming days. You know, because I would be looking for this. I would be looking for the third wave breakout. And we'll just have to build up the position. But this position is built up with strength, not with weakness against me, right? I don't want to add to the position if we're breaking down. I want to get stopped out and forget about it, right? So, yeah, anyway, let's go through the comment section. I'm long on alts. That is awesome. Long on altcoins. Let's go. We got Kepo here, long on altcoins. Are you long? Yes, sir, I am. Yes, sir, I am. And I'm also, you know, also short. Still in that long. We've just been ranging here for over 24 hours now. Still at the same price level. Also short, guys. This was a very, very good, strong short. I've been short from the last few weeks, adding to an existing position as well. And, you know, naturally taking profits because I am feeling a little bit bullish in this zone. And this is why I entered the long position. Okay, but being mainly short, of course. But I think there's a good chance that we do get a decent bounce and we do get above 70 and even above $72,000 potentially in the next coming days, right? The invalidation is crystal clear for me at 65.1. We're not that far away from that level. It's not an all-in trade. And depending on the strength, I'm not going to add to the position on a sign of weakness. I'm going to add to the position if we get a sign of strength. Okay, because yeah, I don't want that low to be taken. On a sign of strength, I'll look to add to the position, and you know, the trading community is very much aware of this position, and you know, obviously if I'm not on YouTube, they will know when I'm adding, if we don't get stopped out, of course. But I will be explaining what I need to see naturally to be confident that we're going to take out, you know, these lower highs that we do have here. Okay. And I would not expect, even though it can happen, because we already have, you know, if this is going to be a wave 1 or a wave A in this case, right? Wave A, wave B. And if we are looking for a wave C here, you know, you would already have your wave 1 and 2 of your C wave. This C wave, you know, this third wave can be pretty ferocious, as in you get a quick wave 1, boom, 3, and then, you know, 4, 5, right? And then you get your wave 4, and then your wave 5, right? But your wave 3 could be very, very quick and aggressive. And you're like waiting for a good sign of a pullback and a correction, and it just happens very, very fast. Just because you have possibly your wave 1 and wave 2 here, right? And maybe the wave 3 could be a little bit quick in this case. So I'm not sure if there will be time or very good price action to add to that long position, because I understand it could be quite fast. If we do get that 1 and 2, right, then absolutely awesome. We'll try and detect that correction in the coming days, if that is the case, to add to that long position and maximize the move up. Let's go. CBM here was saying that was very, 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 very bored, and I think we're all very, very bored with the price action. In 1 hour and 20 minutes from now, we do have the FOMC minutes, and hear me out, this might be a big fat nothing burger. Capo is bullish. Oh, don't say that, man. Come on, really? We're gonna have to change bearish then. I have to say, I would take a little hit on this long. I would take a little hit on this long if we are coming down to 65k. I'm obviously, you know, very much well exposed on the short side, but yeah, what can we say? This is the problem that I've had. Before the live stream, I actually went into, you know, I am subscribed to a lot of the, you know, mid channels, larger channels and medium channels. Not that I do get any analysis. You know that my analysis, you know, you're not going to find it on many channels out there. But I actually have fun to see what they have to say, right? And what is disturbing, like somebody said here, VW Pero says, Capo is bullish. I have seen other channels talking about bullish, you know, and I'm long into $80,000 and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, it's probably not going to happen. You know, there's when you get so many different YouTube, crypto, Bitcoin analysis channels, I just go with the charts, right? I go with the charts. And today, out of curiosity, I went to see other channels to see what's their sentiment. Holy smokes, there's a lot of them. They're actually looking for a big move up to, you know, $75,000-$80,000. And I'm like, whoa, okay. You know, I cannot go against the technicals here and the probability side, and the probabilities do lean more for a move up, unfortunately. But yeah, the bearish scenario is very much possible. That will change if we get a huge amount of retail longs entering right now, which, you know, you kind of have on Bybit. You know, Bybit brothers and sisters have been longing here throughout today. They've been getting into some pretty decent longs. We've got a big volatile move down, but they have been creating some bearish CVD divergence with this recent pump that we got at 68.2k. They were longing like crazy, and we smacked them down for the moment. What is interesting though, when we do consider the higher time frame on the CVD, is that we are forming lower lows throughout most of the exchanges. So there has been some shorts piling in here. Okay, there is shorts piling it because we are forming from that pivot low of 65.1k in the white here, which is other exchanges. It's a combination of other exchanges such as Binance, OKX, and other ones. We do have lower lows. So, you know, there's been some shorts piling up here throughout the last, you know, 3-4 days. Creating lower lows, and we are forming higher lows on the price action, which is at least nice to see based on the bullish scenario. We're hitting good support. There are some bullish CVDs when we do zoom out from this higher low, and you know, Elliott wave analysis does point out that this does look, you know, impulsive. This does look corrective. The combination to finish a correction here does not look nice. To, you know, start breaking down here aggressively, and the probability side does point out that, you know, a larger correction here with a good chance of taking out 72k does look more interesting. So the problem here is risk management, right? The problem here is getting into a trade that you're risking way much more than you can afford to lose, right? If you are going to get into this long position and you are going to be devastated if you get stopped out, you're probably risking too much, right? If I get stopped out, I will move on, right? Move on and look for another setup. So, you know, this is super important, right? At the end of the day, it's just going to be another trade, right, that is taken. Anyway, let's go through. Great analysis. Thank you very much, my man. Much love to you. Thank you very much. Capo is bullish. The same guy that said Capo is bullish. I have a count with an ABC in the wave 2 that you watch. B is the running flat, and then C, wave C, is an ending diagonal. Okay, right, I have a count with an ABC in this wave 2 that you're watching, right? Wave B is a running flat, and the C wave is an ending diagonal. Okay, let me just double check this. I am okay. I assume that you are my man here. You are patron. I assume the one that you are saying here is this one. You would have a wave 1. You know, you still need to form that diagonal. Oof. I'm not sure if this is the one, but you don't have. Sorry, my bad. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is the thing about a diagonal, right? Once you're wave 3 and you're forming your wave 4, then you can start considering the diagonal. Right now, I think this is the one where you said in that wave 2, which is, I think, this one, right? This is the wave 2 that we are speculating on. You said there is an ABC where the B wave is a running flat and your C wave would be a diagonal. I would assume it's this one. This is it exactly. Okay. The problem is here that a diagonal, we only have wave 1 and 2, right? So we've only got the wave 1 and the wave 2. So we would need wave 3, 4, and 5 still. You know when we would consider this, and this would be like coming really, really low, right, to the 7.8 Fibonacci, even the 0.88 Fibonacci. That would be deep for that wave 2. The problem is with this scenario is that you need at least your potential wave 4 formation to speculate on this. But it is possible. It is without a doubt possible. We might just take out the lows in the coming hours, get a reaction bounce throughout tomorrow, and then throughout Friday, take out the lows again. And absolutely, the moment I would really consider this is, once we've taken out the low of yesterday and once we got the bounce, because then we have, you really want to consider once you have the third wave in and you're getting a choppy bounce, then we can consider the diagonal, right? But you can consider it much before, absolutely, but as it, is it tradable? Well, it would be tradable, right? Once wave 3 and 4 is in, right? And then you're ready for the wave 5 to finish, right? And get that, double bottom basically, right? From the wave 3. But yeah, it's yeah, maybe it could happen. As explained, this range could still extend for a few more days. This would be, this could also be one of them, that we'll see if it is forming. If we take out the lows and get a bounce, we would consider it. Of course, it's early stages to really give this priority, of course, but, it could be one of them. And then you have the flat here, running flat, and then the possible flat here as well, right? Which is still, ranging, taking out this high, and then even taking out this low, and then move up. So the range still could continue, right? No breakout, just a bit of choppiness. But these two scenarios end up looking for a move up, right? They both of them end up looking for this pump. This is the move that we're kind of interested in. So good catch right there, I have to say. the moment this will be interesting to look at is, you know, if we take out the low and get the bounce, you know, we could really consider this scenario. So, yeah, good catch. I like it. Much love to you, my man. Not the greatest, a little bit speculative, but it's looking fine. Absolutely. There's you know, it's just anticipating that we could form that diagonal when we're in the wave 2, basically, right? Which is completely fine. I've speculated on diagonals on your wave 1, right? Wave, you know, diagonals, you want them halfway completed, right? Boring price action, Andy. It is indeed. I'm sorry. But we are getting ready for a few scenarios. We are getting ready. There's not much we can get ready on here. I think, you know, this could still be a little bit noisy. We have, as Yoav Patron was saying, this could actually turn into a diagonal on its own after the running flat. It's still possible that you just chop here. You form a diagonal in that ABC. You could still chop around. You could still get a pump here to the lower highs and then a move down to form an internal flat. And that WXY flat, flat, flat. And, you know, then move up. And worst case scenario is that it just rolls down. We break down. And that's based on the leading diagonal, right? Which we don't like very, very much. This leading diagonal right over here, which we don't like very, very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very, very shallow ABC, but the waves are completed. They could be completed. That's the problem. That if we do just nuke down here with high volume, you know, I'm going to have to take a little hit on this, but there, you know, this would be the count. Leading diagonal and an ABC shallow zigzag at the 382 Fibonacci, which, you know, I can never give this the highest probability because a leading diagonal is low probability. If you can count any type of corrective structures without a leading diagonal, most likely they have the high probability. You know, most likely it is going to be that other wave than actually speculating on a leading diagonal. But it's not always like that. It's not always like that, right? And after a leading diagonal, you know, very, very commonly you form a sharp corrective move. You know, even hitting the 7/8 Fibonacci, it is actually pretty sharp. I wanted to get you an example here, but leading diagonals are just very rare, so it's going to take a few hours to find one. Probably not that much, but yeah, sharp. You know, after a leading diagonal, a sharp correction to the golden pocket 7/8 is most common to then roll over, and that is not the case here. So probabilities are low for the wave 3 breakdown here, for a capitulation in a wave 3. The probability is actually quite low. And what time is it in your country? Here it is 10 p.m. I'm in the UAE now, so it is 10 p.m. here. Anyway, legends, much love. Thank you very much for being on the stream here. It is actually pretty damn boring price action, and unless you are scalping on the 1 minute time frame with 100x leverage, I mean, even since we started the stream, it's been even more boring, guys. Holy smokes. What can we do? I think the people are waiting for the FOMC minutes. And naturally, I would expect at least some local volatility, at least a move of $1,000. I mean, come on. But since we started the stream, we are literally in this range. I mean, yeah, not much we can do here, guys. I mean, yeah, basically, anyway, I am more in that long position looking for the bounce, right? I'm not interested in these little movements where we are at the moment. I'm really not interested in whatever happens in this zone. I'm not interested at all. It's just I think it's gonna be just a little bit noisy. Anyway, I remain in that long, remain in the, I still got a significant chunk of this short, just in case. If this long position does move up to above $72,000, I mean, yeah, this is going to be a pretty good trade. Yeah, it's going to be a nice one. Hopefully, I manage to build it up a little bit bigger. And the trading community in the Telegram will be, they will be aware about this. I will let them know. For me, there's been no changes. If you are interested in entering the trading community, guys, send me the word access. It is super simple to join. You just need to sign up to either Bluffin, Belto, BTCC. Do a minimum deposit for your own trading, and we'll get you a couple of months for free inside of the trading community, where there's daily updates, possible setups that we're looking at. Shout out to Devil. This short position was provided inside of the community by Devil, and just in a very, very good short position. Very, very good short. We were hinting a little bit this short on YouTube, based on the 1 2 3 4 5 bounce movement down here, and basically, very much aware of this kind of correction to happen. Legends, we are not going to keep it live till the FOMC. Thank you very much for joining today's stream. Andy, for the Coinbase charge, might you put a stop loss to protect a spot position as to avoid sliding down through the value gap below 67K? Okay, chart. And for the Coinbase chart, where might you put a stop loss to protect a spot position as to avoid sliding down through the value gap below 67? Where would I put a stop loss? On spot, on Coinbase. Yeah, well, literally, I've got a, for me, this would be an invalidation based on the local bullish case scenario. Okay, I'm not sure if you're talking about this value area low or on Coinbase. Baby Genius, much love to you. Thanks, Legend. You're very much welcome. If I wasn't be longing already, I would long now. Good price. Distance music. Yeah, absolutely. Is ICP still going to $20? That is a very good question. I actually exited, most of my investment. This was very much vocal when we got that pump on ICP to about $8 a few months ago. I was very vocal on this on YouTube, saying, guys, I'm going to get out and get my investment back, because I accumulated ICP very, very aggressively. Where was it? In this range, many months here, and I was at a loss, and then it went to $8-9, and with this pump I said, guys, I'm actually taking my investment out on ICP. So yeah, still holding that bag though. We're gonna have to hold for the next cycle on ICP. But you need to be defensive. If you get the opportunity, if you get the opportunity for exit liquidity, right? Yeah, I need to get out, right? Because I actually invested a significant amount of ICP here. I'm very vocal about this. It doesn't matter, Then we got the October 10th collapse, and obviously, that spot bag, you still have it. If you got the opportunity to get this massive rally, we were hitting that lower high resistance. I'm thinking, guys, I think this is just a short squeeze, and I want to take at least my investment out, because I didn't invest 10,000 on this. I invested quite a bit more, and I want to get my investment out at least, and we'll hold the coins. At least I'll hold some of the free coins, right, to see what happens, and we're down, right? Just like every altcoin. What can we say? This is no new news. When is FOMC? FOMC is in about an hour from now. It's in about an hour from now. Okay, Nathan, you need to send me a DM here on Telegram, okay? If you want access to the trading community, send me a DM here. It's the first link down below. You only need to sign up to either Bluffin, Belto, BTCC, and we'll get you a couple of months for free, and you can see what it's all about. That short trade was given here from Devilt, okay, which is a very, very good short that you provided a few days in the community. Legend, very educational channel. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you tomorrow, if not inside the trading community. Thank you. Stay safe, trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.